Morning. It's Saturday, September 25th, and the immigration situation in this country has gotten totally out of hand. We're shipping thousands of Haitians back to Haiti, back to a country in turmoil. Our immigration system has been a disaster for many, many years. It's time we got it fixed up. It's time we took the energy and effort that is needed to put a proper immigration system in place. We have too many factions in this country that have different opinions about immigrants. There is a faction that doesn't want any immigrants in this country at all. And then there are those who want to be benevolent and take care of these people and make sure that they're safe. And somewhere in between is where the real answer lies. But meanwhile, they are stacked up at the border in thousands. And we had an incident with the Texas police force, the horse brigade, I will call them, which has reins on their horses that can also be used as whips. And they apparently were taking out their anger on some of the immigrants or using their horses to keep them under control. Now, I remember marching in the May Day parade in the 50s, and the mounted police in New York City used their horses for crowd control. They would sort of brush up against you and keep you in the center of the road, so to speak. And these guys were probably doing the same thing. But I'm not here to talk about the past. I'm here to talk about a possible solution for housing these immigrants until we can figure out how to properly run our immigration system. We have something in this country that is known as the mothball fleet. Those are naval vessels that are kept in reserve in case there is a major emergency and we have to put them back into act. And there are mothball fleets in several different parts of this country. I've seen the one in Bremerton, Washington. I know there's another one around Pearl Harbor, and there's one supposedly in Philadelphia, but they're all over the country. Not really all over the country, but in probably a half a dozen places. In fact, we used to have one on the Hudson River nearby. But I think in the Korean War, we moved all those vessels some other place. But in any event, we have these ships sitting out there. And I am suggesting that we use them to house the immigrants. And who's going to take care of these immigrants? We have a huge population that is unemployed and is trying to get back to work. And I will suggest that we can recruit many of those people to work on these ships and help maintain these immigrants in a safe place until we can figure out how to assimilate them into this country or send them wherever they have to go. But we shouldn't do this in a rush. We shouldn't do this in a rush. And some of you may say, well, putting these people on the ship is like putting them in jail. Well, it's better than having them sitting under a bridge in Texas with the cowboys riding all over them. So that's my suggestion, that we open up the mothball fleet and put it to good use by housing these so-called illegal immigrants. And we could set up a whole system that will get these people jobs. And we can help this country. We can get ourselves out of this terrible morass that we have gotten ourselves into, where our nation is so divided that we can't help one another. We don't get anything done. So here's a plan that is executable. We take these people and we put them on these ships. And I'll bet you that many of them can take care of themselves. They could probably run the kitchen and clean the ship and do whatever else has to be done. And maybe we won't have to employ a huge amount of people. But at least we would know where they are. They would be there. And they would be relatively safe on a ship. So I think that would be a great idea. And then we would have time to figure out what we really want to do with our immigration system. We really need more people in this country. Our birth rate has gone down. We have a huge country and lots of things to do and lots of things that are not getting done, let alone infrastructure. So we have a whole bunch of people that could work on infrastructure if we gave them housing. And we don't have to build houses if we put them on the ships. We have to provide some transportation, but we don't have to build houses and housing units all over the place in order to house the people. In fact, maybe it would be a good idea to open up the ships as apartments, and then there may be some cruise ships available too that we could use. And the beauty of this is, hey, we can move these ships to different places. They don't all have to be in the same mothball fleet area. You could have a couple of ships in New York, a couple of ships in San Francisco, a couple of ships outside of Los Angeles, a couple of ships on the Mississippi, so the immigrants would be all over this country and available to work in many areas where help is needed. And then we can give them a pathway to citizenship. I know what I'm saying is probably going to aggravate a huge percentage of the people in this country, because there are people in this country who don't want anybody else in this country. And let me tell you something, if these immigrants are people of color, that upsets even more people. We have a terrible situation in this country with our humanity and the way we believe this country should remain pure white, pure Christian, or whatever else it is that they want to be pure. So this is what I say. Take the mothball fleet, open it up, make it housing for the immigrants, and put it in places where these people can work on infrastructure or be a benefit to this country, not a drain. I'm not looking to put a drain on our economy. I'm looking to improve the situation, save people's lives, make us greater than we are. That's my slogan. Make America greater than we are right now. Not great again, not once again great, but greater than we are. So that's what I have to say this morning, and I hope I haven't upset anybody, but I probably have. And that's a good thing. Upset is a good thing. It makes people think. In any event, I'll see you in the morning. Bye.